I'd like to call to order the City Caucus meeting for Monday, July 24th, 2023. We have 4 items for original consideration. If the clerk would please read item number 1.
Item number 1 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing on a moratorium on smoke and vape shops and similar uses in the city of Schenectady for purposes of developing modifications to the zoning ordinance regarding such uses.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 2.
Item number 2 for final consideration, a resolution authorizing the abandonment of a portion of Larch Street.
This will be Mr. Palomini, roll call. Be a roll call vote. Item number 3.
Item number 3 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing an amendment to the collective bargaining agreement 2021 to 2025 between the City of Schenectady and AFSCME Council 66 Local 1037A.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 4.
Item number 4 for original consideration, a resolution amending Resolution 2023-136 regarding an endorsement of the Schenectady Inner City Environmental Conservation for the Southern Pine Community Recovery Program grant.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. If there's nothing else to come before the City Council caucus, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Move adjourn. Reverend James Konecki for the prayer invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come before Thee in our need. Grant that we welcome the stranger, the immigrant, for we once were as well strangers in a strange land. Grant that the scourge of addiction and addiction-related deaths be removed from our city. Provide healing where needed and comfort for survivors. As well, in Thy great grace, help us in accomplishing our common mission of service to Your people. Give us always Thy abundant blessings. Amen.
I'd like to call on Councilmember Patrick to lead us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would please read the, call the roll.
Mr. Mutaverin? Mr. Toro? Here. Mr. Farley? Absent. Mr. Williams is absent. Ms. Patrick? Here. Mr. Palomini? Here. Ms. Porterfield?
Here. The clerk would please read, excuse me, I've asked for approval for minutes of July 10th, 2023. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Mutaverin. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. The clerk would please read any communications and petitions.
Communications presented to City Council for Monday, July 24th, 2023. Under official, there were none. Under general, an email from Mark Baker, president of the Soft Lights Foundation, regarding the health hazard of LED streetlights. And under petitions, there were none.
Thank you. Ask council members for any committee reports. Committee reports. We have now the privilege of the floor related to the legislative agenda, and I have no one signed up to speak. So I will declare the public comment on the legislative agenda closed. Ask for approval of the legislative consent agenda. Moved by Mr. Mutaverin, second by Ms. Patrick. All in favor? Aye. We do have a roll call vote. We have a resolution. If the clerk would please read item number 2.
Item number 2 for final consideration, a resolution authorizing the abandonment of a portion of Larch Street.
I'd like to make a motion that we table this item so that the language could be updated.
In a second. All right. All those in favor? Oh, excuse me. Roll call. Aye. Ms. Patrick? All right. Aye. All right, the motion passed. Privilege of the floor regarding general city business. I have 7 people who are signed up to speak. Just to remind speakers that the time limit is 3 minutes. First person is Ed Lavin Jr.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Chairwoman Porterfield, council members. Mr. Mayor, you are responsible for the enforcement of law in the city and to ensure justice. You are mandated by your oath of office and the Constitution to look into my complaint of obstruction of justice and treason by these 3 judges. You and these council members are obstructing justice by covering up these crimes committed by these corrupt judges. Keeping me out of the newspaper on my ethics complaint is not ensuring justice, it is a cover-up and a conspiracy to deprive me of my constitutional rights. It is also a crime committed by everyone in front of me. Please don't look into this. I want you all to go down with Valetico because you are all corrupt and you all belong in jail for obstruction of justice. Judge's oath of office includes the undertaking to uphold the laws and Constitution of the United States. Any judge violating such undertaking loses jurisdiction, resulting in his orders being void, and he himself commits a treasonable offense against the United States. Federal offense. In the United States, misprision of treason is a federal offense committed when someone who has knowledge of the commission of any treason against the United States conceals such knowledge and does not inform the president, federal judge, a state governor, or a state judge, which none of you have done.
Thank you. Wayne Harper. Mr. Harper? Okay. Matt Nelligan? Okay, Mr. Harper is here.
You guys are moving right along tonight. I'm not up to speed. Hey, John. I'm going to ask Gary there to give me a hand. I want to talk to the folks that do the grass seeding. Where that hydrant was taken out months ago, it needs some attention. And I want to speak to the people that actually do it so that we can have a discussion about it. So you could tell Donna, I don't know, I don't want him to just come. I want him to call me. I think that'd be the proper thing. Call, get a hold of me, we'll set up a time, and then I can meet with the people that actually do the work. What do you think? You just can nod your head. No, you can't say nothing. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there. I've had a rough day. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Matt Nelligan?
Thank you, President Porterfield. Right up the street at this very moment, the Schenectady County Legislature is finally declaring a state of emergency regarding the New York City migrant crisis that has been going on for months now in the state of New York. Exactly 2 months to the day, I called upon Mayor McCarthy to put forward a resolution declaring a state of emergency here in the city. He did nothing. Hundreds of undocumented immigrants now sit on our doorstep at the Super 8 Hotel. They came, as I predicted they would, courtesy of the Democratic mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. Still, Mayor McCarthy did nothing. Glenville passed a resolution calling on the county to act on this matter. Still, we did nothing. Doing nothing, it seems, is what we do best at this point. Someone in the city did do something, however. A gentleman named Danny Alasha. He owns the Schenectady Inn and Suites. Around the same time, the Rotterdam Hotel displaced American citizens, some of them homeless, some of them destitute. To replace them with undocumented immigrants, Danny was offered the same deal by the city of New York. He said no. The only reason we're not in the same position today as Rotterdam tonight is the courage of Danny Alasha. If our do-nothing mayor had his way, we would be dealing with the same crisis that Rotterdam is right now. This will not be a new Schenectady until we have a new mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Kennedy?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tom Kennedy. I live in Woodlawn. You know, I watched with some trepidation the last committee meeting we had, and committee meeting you had, I'm sorry. And there was discussion about changing the zoning laws for the new location of the cannabis place. Now, for those people who aren't familiar with it, there are a lot of residents that don't like where it's at now. There's nothing we can do about that. That horse is out of the barn. I was just at my doctor's today, and he told me that there's some people, and he's a doctor on Union Street, there's some people that won't walk on that side of the street because they're intimidated. This is usually the older residents. If you take a look at right next to it, there's a picture. There's a dance studio there, and then there's a salon on the other side. You can't see it, but there's an elementary school very close to there. So I think for those people who were in this council who kept talking about lenses, there's only one lens that we should have, and that lens should be the residents of Schenectady. The problem that we have is that every time I come in this place, we're looking at the wrong lens. The lens here is that we have to make sure that the kids, that the older people, that people have businesses in Union Street. Unfortunately, they have to live with that there, but let's not have that again. And I'm being told the next place is downtown Schenectady. And I don't care if some council member here wants one of those buddies to have a place down on State Street. That's not where it should be. That's for families and for residents and businesses. And I tell you, what we better start looking at is the nuisance that this marijuana is causing in this city. Because I don't think anybody could walk around here on summer night. It was absolutely disgusting. You couldn't go anywhere without smelling marijuana. And that, you had kids with babies, you had young girls with babies in their hand that had to suck in that smoke. It's ridiculous. So I understand that, that the Democrats, thought it would be a good idea to do marijuana as a recreation thing. I know they have to find some way to spend, find money to spend on their spending tax agenda. But I would hope that this city council would put the residents of the city of Schenectady first and make sure that the next place, if God forbid there is a next place, that it's in a position where it doesn't impede business or affect children and or older residents. And that's my only message tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Rod Hubert?
Hello, everybody. I was here maybe about a month ago, and I talked about some things, and I didn't get a call back from anyone. Am I chopped liver or what? It's just awful. My main concern is the roads. Nobody does anything. You get $10 million for a pool that you're going to use 3 months. We're the taxpayers. What are we going to get out of it? Anything? And they call this New Schenectady? Really? All they care about is the casino and maybe Upper Union Street and whatever. But I wish somebody would call me. Maybe we can get a plan in place. And another thing, it's too bad that these council meetings aren't televised anymore, because then the rest of the taxpayers would know what is going on. It's very sad. Everybody have a good night.
Thank you. Sir, I know that you're leaving, but I just want you to know that these council meetings are televised. They are televised. So, yeah, it is, but it's not 16 anymore. But if you leave your name and a phone number, I can tell you how you can get it, okay? All right, thank you. Robin Barnhill?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Robin, this is my husband, Jerry. We live in Schenectady over 25 years, and we own a house on Locust Avenue, a beautiful home. We spent a lot of money updating it. And the reason why we here, because, and I've been fighting this battle for over a year, because we have a huge tree, which is the city tree, and it's overgrown, and it's leaning on top of our roof, and also, we live in 803 Locust, so 801 is actually that bad where the tree, the limb of the tree is hitting the neighbor window. And when it's a windy day out, right, and that's where her son's bedroom is, it's actually hitting the glass window. And I'm not asking for the tree to be cut down because I was told, I went to General Services, that on the first floor, and like in the corner, and I was told that it was a healthy tree, that they would not cut it down. We're not asking for the city to cut down a healthy tree. What we are asking is for them to at least trim it. You know, I'm like past the retirement age, so I'm still working. And I want to retire within the next year, and I don't want to have to worry about the damage from the roof. So I'm asking the city to please trim it. And like I said, I've been going back and forth over a year. So that's what I'm asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamaica Miles?
Good evening. Happy to have this opportunity to come and speak tonight. And there are so many things to talk about, but I'm going to try to keep it brief. One, I'd like to remind folks I'm a proud business owner here in the city of Schenectady. As a matter of fact, our office is right across the street. And as a business owner, it has been an interesting journey to recognize what it means to be a business owner here in the city of Schenectady. And I appreciate that on Union Street there has been increased traffic. And so I imagine that business owners want increased traffic for the individuals to come and stop at their shops and to know what's happening going on there, because we look for opportunities for individuals to invest in Schenectady and to open businesses. So I hope that we can continue to do that with any multitude of businesses. As it comes to the safety of our children, we have bars and restaurants all throughout this city. Also, people smoke cigarettes. I don't like the smell of smoke, not even one little bit, not any cigarette or any type of smoke, but I recognize that when we are in public places outside of our parks where children are and no one is supposed to smoke anything, that we've not come to a position where we can just stop people from smoking walking down the street. Unfortunately, that's not where we are. But more importantly, I want to talk about what's happening on Becker. On Becker Street, between Brandywine and Snowden, it has long been known that speeding and aggressive driving happens down that street constantly on a daily basis. Sean Young sent an email, he's unfortunately not able to be here this evening, talking about the most recent accidents that have happened. One, in June, a child from Central Park was hit by a car. A child was hit by a car. The good news is that child recovered. She was able to return to school. It was not just the trauma of that child, but also of her friends, who then were in fear. Oh my goodness, is she gonna be okay? Are we gonna be okay? And then let's go back just a couple weekends ago, where at the corner of Linden and Becker, two cars collided, ended up on the property of a home at the corner of Becker and Linden. Inside that home, less than 20 feet from where the cars were, laid Roman Miles, Malia Miles, Amin Lane, Aaliyah Lane, and Emilion Lane. 5 children were inside that building, just feet away from 2 cars that crashed through a gate, destroying the property just inches from the front door. Individuals have asked that speed humps be added onto Becker Street, as well as additional stop signs. There are plenty of police that police that area on a regular basis. They are not stopping the cars at all hours of day. But the humps that exist over about MLK, they stop cars from going quickly. We need those same humps on Becker Street, and I am sure there are countless other streets in this city that would benefit from those humps as well. So if safety of our children and our community and the property is a priority for this council and our mayor, please look at how quickly we can add speed humps to Becker Street, as well as additional stop signs. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment on city business closed. Miscellaneous business of the council? No one? Okay. Mayor, it's all you.
Thank you, Madam President. Appreciate everyone when they come out and their thoughts and comments for the city. Just want to remind people that we are preparing to hold an open competitive exam for police officers in the city of Schenectady, both the generalist and then Spanish-speaking officers. The last day to file for that exam is July 31st, and the exam's going to be held on September 9th. And so we encourage individuals who are interested in a career in law enforcement, working for the city, to file the application for the exam, take the exam, and hopefully that we'll be able to hire them and they can join our police department. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. I also would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight to voicing your concerns. And I did mention at the last committee meeting we all did get the email regarding the speeding and the accidents, plural, that happened on Becker Street. So, as I said, then I'm not sure exactly what we could do about it because our city engineer says that we have to have traffic studies and all of that, but I think we're in a very crucial time right now because we're seeing speeding all over the city. So we have to look into what could be done more immediately, and definitely that's a conversation with the mayor. I would like to Mrs. Barnhill, I will refer your concern onto the department that would take care of that, and we could see, hopefully we can get that taken care of. Just want to, again, thank everyone for coming. Wish you a good evening. Oh, yes. The 5th Monday, next Monday, so there will be no meeting, so everybody gets the Monday off. And, of course, we'll be back here in August. And with that, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Mutaverin, second by Ms. Patrick. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Have a good evening.